Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Kelly Singh.
Murray heaves it downfield. It is caught. It is caught. DeAndre Hopkins. Miraculous. It's Murray magic.
The sickest Arizona Cardinals podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Hey, and welcome to the sickest Arizona Cardinals podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Singh, Phoenix, Arizona native, born and raised, avid football fan. I'm emphasizing fan because I'm not a professional analyst, although I would say when it comes to sports betting, please do come to me. I've got your picks. But when it comes to the ins and outs of what happens in the back office or even on the field, I'm just like you, sitting there in my seat, watching the games, reading the updates, and giving my take as a fan. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the Combine. The Combine, it's happened. It was amazing. Man, the updates were fast and furious. And the one that we just could not overlook would be that of Jalen Carter. Bombshell. Am I right? I mean, Jalen Carter was set to be that pick for the Arizona Cardinals, and minutes before he was set to take the stage, an arrest warrant was issued. Like, you can't make this stuff up. I'm not laughing at him because it's a horrible situation. People died, and he is going to have severe setbacks in his career depending on his involvement in this case. What is comical is that this team cannot catch a break. Just when we think, yes, defensive talent, we are set, the man is basically extradited and does not appear at the Combine. So obviously this severely hurts his capital, his draft clout. I don't know what the word is. You know what it is. But he's going to, sink in the rankings. Some are saying still top 10, but I would say that the Cardinals are a franchise that really don't want to mess with any kind of integrity issues. We have enough of our own issues to deal with. So I would say that Jalen Carter is not on the Cardinals roadmap anymore. According to a report in The Athletic, a GM, quote unquote, pretty much said the same, that despite the outcome, choosing Jalen Carter as that very first pick in the draft is doubtful. Also, according to this report, a quote unquote exec, is that fun? Quotes if you're watching. If you're listening, I'm making air quotes. An exec told them that Will Anderson is going to be the move. Okay. I find Will Anderson to be pretty much on par with Tyree Wilson. However, I found Tyree Wilson to be far more explosive. My friend Donnie Druin at SI.com, beat writer for the Cardinals, said that he was freakishly athletic or something like that. To read the quote again, but I do find him to be far more imposing. I really like Tyree Wilson. And another quote unquote exec in this article agreed, saying that barring anything that comes out of the physical, like any limitations, he had a foot injury. So barring any physical limitations, this exec sees that Wilson should be the pick. I guess we're going to have to wait because all in all, there's still a lot of talk on the table about the Cardinals getting rid of that third pick, trading back, using it as draft capital, since our initial first pick in Jalen Carter doesn't seem like it's going to happen. So there are a range of options. However, I feel like we are in such dire need for a defensive edge, for instance, that that pick's still going to happen. And as I mentioned, I happen to like Tyree Wilson. Whoever you like, let us know. You can tweet me at Kelly in Phoenix or the podcast at SickPodKelly and let us know what you think the Cardinals should do with that third pick. There's just plenty to say about those top defensive picks. There's 2 top guys in the class. They are pretty much neck and neck if you were to ask. But yeah, that's my viewpoint. I don't see any huge benefit in trading back when we are in such need of these defensive players. So let's hold on to it. That's my take. What is yours? Another super interesting headline to come out of the combine was the NFLPA players. What do you call that? Survey? Yeah, survey. So basically, they gave a survey to all players, and players were very candid in their responses, talking about the facilities, the staff, all kinds of different categories. Basically, the Cardinals came in second to last. That's really bad. The good news is, despite this horrible report card, those 2 top picks still said they had a desire to play in Arizona. So that's really amazing and really great news. Despite the horrible report card, let me just repeat that. These 2 top defensive picks would still want to play in Arizona. And that's likely due to Kyler Murray. That's likely due to the shakeup of the front, the back office, all of the coaching staff. I mean, we're shaping up for an amazing rebuild. And I feel like that's really part of it. That's the silver lining to this horrible report card. So I'll break it down for you in case you didn't see this. The Cardinals received an F in treatment of families, an F minus. I don't know how you can do worse than an F, but an F minus in nutrition. And I did a little digging into this, and apparently the Cardinals are one of the only teams who make the players play for their pay for their food while they play. So they're there in the weight training facility, or they're there in practice on the field, and they need to eat. And in order to eat, they're required to pay for their food. I mean, come on now. Seems so silly. I mean, it's not like it's some steak dinner at a fancy restaurant with 3 bottles of wine and all of the fixins. We're talking about lunch. So an F minus in nutrition, and that was part of it. Weight room, F minus. Again, just these kinds of things can be remedied, and it's not remedied with paint, like putting lipstick on a pig. Is that the phrase? I know there were some renovations done at the facility. The facility's in Tempe, which, for those of you who don't know Arizona well, it's on the complete other side of town from the stadium. So we have this amazing stadium, and some might go as far as saying state of the art. I'm not so sure. But we have this amazing stadium. And then you go to Tempe, which is where ASU happens to be. And this is an old building. This is an old training facility. And they've put paint in it. They've replaced the chairs, from what I understand. But those things do not make a state-of-the-art training facility. So the weight room, F minus, and part of that was even safety concerns. So not even like the scientific training facility part of it, but even the safety of the training facility. in the weight room because the training room, surprise, also received an F minus, and that falls in that same space. Players want to have top of the line equipment. They want to have the latest and greatest science behind their training. They want to be the best. They want to compete, and we need to provide those tools, and we are failing below failing, apparently. I can't stop laughing because an F minus, man, that's bad. But positive note, the strength training staff received an A minus, and the training staff received a B plus. So great staffing, and the travel. Apparently, we travel well. B plus. So if you like to travel and you like people, we're the team for you. Don't worry about eating though. That's not something you can think about. But if you like people and you like travel, I got you. So let me see if I can find any of these. There were some quotes. Here's a little note. There were in the strength category, Arizona, the strengthening staff. Arizona received an A minus. Only 5 teams did not get an A minus or above. So while it sounds amazing, we're just one of the masses. The B plus in training staff, however, tied for 12th. So on the higher end, that's really good to know. Training staff is important. I thought I had a quote there, but I don't. I just thought that was really, really interesting. Something that I wanted to share with you today. Here it is. Here's the quote about the nutrition. If players would like dinner, it can be boxed up for them, but the team will charge via a payroll deduction. And apparently, we are the only team in the league that does that. Players reported that if they work out the facility and the team would charge for every meal at the facility. And I thought we were one of few teams that does this, but apparently we're the only team that does this. Man, they need to be grounded for that report card. Go to your room. That's what I would say. Lastly, because there's so many things that happen in a week, we've got the report card, we've got the 2 picks, we've got what happened with Jalen Carter. The last thing that I really wanted to talk to you about is kind of a newish article yesterday from our friend at Donnie Drew and asking if the Cardinals should hit the reset button this season. They have the opportunity to do so. I don't see how they aren't doing that unintentionally anyway. My answer to Donnie was yes, the Cardinals need to hit the reset button because we are less than a week away until these decisions need to be made because there's so many pending free agents out there right now. That's going to be like the first part of that rebuild, right? Deciding which free agents can we pick up that will help the strength of the team. That is sort of the roadmap, right, for what happens when they get to the draft. But essentially what's going to happen is it's going to be hard to not do better than 4-13. Man, I hope they do. I'm not looking to contend. I am just looking to rebuild. Like I said, let's just be mediocre for a year. Let's not be awful. Let's not set our sights too high. Let's be mediocre, rebuild, don't rush anything. And that's an important part of this article from Donnie, where Gannon said at the combine, new coach Jonathan Gannon says, I told Kyler I'm not going to rush him back because part of what makes Kyler so elite is his legs. So when he's ready to play, he'll play. I don't know exactly the timetable as everyone heals a little bit differently. Everyone comes back from rehab a little bit differently, and everyone's different in that aspect. He's different, folks. He's built different. But that's kind of what we've been saying all along here on this podcast since the injury. There's no way that the Cardinals would put that much money into a quarterback like Kyler Murray and rush him back onto the field. This year needs to be one of relaxation, rebuilding, re-energizing, and really that's the bottom line to me. What do you think? Text me. Don't text me. Please don't text me. Tweet me at Kelly in Phoenix on Twitter or the pod at SickPodKelly. Let us know your thoughts. Should the Cardinals take time this season? I mean, don't go out there and blow it, right? Who wants to watch terrible football? But let's not rush Kyler back. Let's get the right pieces in place. Let's build some capital, perhaps, and prepare for the next season. I want to hear from you. Let me know. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. I hope to hear from you on Twitter. I hope to see some comments. And I hope to catch you back next week for another episode of the Sick Podcast with me, Kelly Singh. See you then. Bye.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Kelly Singh on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.